In this video, we discuss in depth about what product managers really do. So, what are the responsibilities of the product management team? So, there are two primary aspects. One is the strategic aspect, the second is the tactical or the technical aspect of product management. In the strategic product management, which generally little more experienced people play the role as a strategic product manager. So, they look into the market side of the products. So, that comes into how the positioning should happen, what features or what modules need to be built, look at the competitive positioning and where we are losing the sales, where we are winning the sales, what features are responsible for it, how you need to make your product more successful in the marketplace. And all of this will be converted into a strategic product roadmap. So, what you need to do in this release and what you need to do in next release and coming year and next year and probably further. That's what the product roadmap defines, the direction in which the product has to evolve over a period of time. And the technical product management is about building the product. So working with engineering teams, design teams, and other stakeholders in order to deliver the product. So as part of this, they are responsible for defining a product backlog. Product backlog is a series of user stories or the product requirements that the engineering teams has to build. So once the product is built, they give demonstrations to the internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, and also to the users on need-to-know basis. And they also provide demonstrations to the market with the help of the outbound product managers and the product marketing teams. So who play the role of product manager? So there are three different roles currently in market. One is the product manager, the second is product owner, primarily at the agile product management level, and there is another role, business analyst. So these are interchangeably used based on service companies, product companies, the onshore, offshore model, different ways that you can use it. We'll discuss in detail what these three roles are about and how product managers spend their time. So the average percentage of time. So this is not definite in terms of how people play the role. This is how I used to spend my time. Okay. So collaboration with technical and design teams in building the product, or while the development teams are working on the product, they may have questions, the story refinements, mock-ups, all of that. So that's around 15% of time I spend on that. And defining the product requirements, writing epics, user stories, evolving them, working with UX design team and defining the mock-ups, all of that, it takes around 15% of my time. And collaborate with various functions that includes internal, external, the partners, all this, it takes around 10% of my time. And it varies from person to person where they are working and planning on maintaining the roadmap. So this takes most of the time because it needs a lot of research, analysis, discussions with various teams. That takes around 20% of the time. That is what is going to evolve into the other three primary areas. And working on coaching, team management, recruiting, all other functions, around 3 to 5% based on where you are with respect to the teams and products. And product managers may not involve into pricing and packaging, but they certainly need to collaborate with responsible teams to do that. And market and research and competition, that around 5% of the time. This is because you need to do this in order to define what the roadmap is, where the positioning happens, where you stand currently, and where you need to stand in the future. And more importantly, reviewing the metrics, what features are currently successful and what features are not doing well, what features are users are using and not using, so that you can make sure that your products are going to be successful in the future. And also look into where you are not successful or where your product is not being used, the product adoption part. And engaging with customers and partners. So you need to talk to your customers and partners based on the feedback. And if there is a forum where the customers are posting questions, You can engage them, you can respond to them, and specific questions you can answer. Sometimes you can schedule meetings and discuss with them. And if you run a pilot program, you may need to continuously in touch with them and respond to them and take feedback from them and involve that into the product roadmap and backlog. And defining the product strategy. So this is where you collaborate with the internal product management, outside product management, leadership in order to come up with where you stand with your product and defining a kind of roadmap and what the strategy you would like to adopt. So you may spend time on other activities as well, but this sums up pretty much what product managers really do and who product managers work with. So there are various teams that product managers work with. I mean, it may not be limited to the teams that I present here, but primarily engineering and UX teams in building the product, the customer success to get the reports, to get the aspect of the response from the customers, and sales marketing to get the feedback on where you're doing well, where you're not doing well, and marketing as to what you're supposed to do currently and in future, and sales gives the feedback to marketing and we get feedback from marketing, and operations, they are responsible for giving or interfacing with the clients directly or indirectly. So it is very important to talk to them and get the feedback, the pulse of the customers. And finance, leadership, partners, all these teams give you directly or indirectly various feedback that you need to take in order to use that feedback to test your roadmap direction and also to see where you need to improve yourself as a product. And as a product manager, you are going to play role in three areas. One is product strategy, product roadmap, and the release management. The product strategy, this is where you probably play a role of where your product should go in terms of product direction. And you analyze market trends, you execute the organization strategy and make sure that your product direction is aligned to the organization strategy. You identify and track metrics that is resulting in success of the product and success of your clients. And you collaborate with marketing to position the product and the go-to-market strategy. And you deliver the product and demonstrations that create a business impact to the clients and also the prospects. And roadmap, you establish key areas, themes that are responsible for the product direction, to determine what features you need to add to the roadmap and what features can wait. And you make sure that there is a clear specifications that you're defining for each of the features, how they are going to convert into a value proposition for your clients. And you build and share the roadmap presentations to the internal and external stakeholders and make sure that you get buy-in from them. And you clearly communicate what is the status of your roadmap items so that everybody is aware of what is being built and what is going to be built in the future. This is very important for marketing and sales team so that we can communicate what is going to come, and that will really help in terms of good sales. And the release management, this is where you build the product and make sure that the product is built as envisioned by you and your teams. And you manage the backlog and you prioritize the technical work. You write the user stories and make sure that the acceptance criteria and everything is built and acceptable by the engineering and design teams. You collaborate with the design and engineering teams to build the product. And you define the release notes and that is required for the product launches. You may track the metrics for the adoption, usage of the product, and also you monitor the release cycle. So these are the various things that product managers do with respect to the strategy, roadmap, and release presentations. And like I mentioned, the product manager has different roles like product manager, product owner, and business analyst. The product managers not only execute the product development, but also are responsible for the success of the product at the marketplace. And product owner, the product manager will become a product owner when they're working with the Scrum teams. So as part of Agile product management or the Scrum methodology, product owner is the one who works with these teams and are responsible for the success of the product. Whereas business analysts, they work with the engineering teams in getting the product built. And sometimes it is the product owner, product manager, but I mean, sometimes it is designated as a business analyst. So there is no really a big difference. But in service companies, you may have a business analyst working with engineering teams, whereas the product managers working with the marketing teams. So this may work well in onshore, offshore models or services companies where the implementation team have business analysts, whereas the client will have product managers. And it varies from company to company. But these three roles are not really different, and where they work could define what role you are playing. Thank you.